I'm going to show you two different ways to take your frottage objects and use them to create a frottage collage. One, you can assemble it right on the paper by putting things underneath once you know what they will do and assembling it on the paper as you go. The other one is taking your objects, cutting them out, and assembling them to create a composition on the paper as you go. So the first thing you want to keep in mind is that a thinner paper is actually better for this assignment. And if you have a crayon, crayon is preferable for getting your images onto the page. So I'm going to come in here and create a horizon line through the addition of this dividing line here, which I just created through ripping some paper. I've now divided my picture plane into both having ground and sky. And then what you can do is, if you're doing the additive technique where you're taking your elements and cutting around them to get separate units, you can then take your pieces and figure out how you want to assemble them to create your collage. So I can come in here and then just take these elements and arrange them as I go. If I have one thing that I want to stay that same way, I could put a little piece of glue there, to tack it in place. And then that way I'd be able to move this unit in different places without it falling apart. So that's definitely an option if you would like to keep things in place as you go. Alright, so then you can just start taking your different collage elements and putting them together to create a interesting composition. Keep in mind you don't have to keep things whole. You could cut it in half and then divide it to create a different appearance by having it go off of the page. And then you can just figure out how you want to create your image. And then what you would do is simply then glue it in place and then take a picture and turn it in. So that's the method where you're adding things that you have already frotaged. You've removed them from your paper, cutting around them. And again, when you're doing your frottage, it is nice to leave space around each of the objects because it'll make this process of cutting them out much easier. You wouldn't want to do it on both sides like I did here, but you know, whatever side you want to use. Okay, the second element is building it straight up on the page. And again, I like to just start with creating a division between the sky and the ground. So I'm going to come in here, put this down, line it up where I want, and I can kind of see it coming through a little bit on the paper, and that's good. And I'm going to just take my crayon and rub across the top of it, and then that's going to just give me a little bit of ground and sky. You can create your own shapes if you want to and cut through them and use those to create a design, or you can build it as you go, which I will show you with this one here. So the first thing I'm thinking I want to do is I want to create a little rabbit. So I am going to take this here and I am going to create a face. So I think I'll put it right here, and I'm going to just come around and I'm going to do a rubbing of that cover to get the shape of the face. Then for the ears, I think I will use the leaf to make some ears. So I'm going to take that leaf, I'm going to line it up, put it where I want it to go, and you can kind of feel where things are to decide what angle you want it. And then you're going to just come in there and rub that out. Now if you are using a colored pencil, you would do a similar thing where you're just going to use long lead and you just want to go directly across instead of up and down. Going across is going to give you a better reproduction of your object. So I can come in here, and now my rabbit has some ears, and then I can decide maybe I want it to have some round eyes. And again, you don't have to do this all in one color. I'm just doing one color just to simplify it. So I can come in here, and I can give him 2 big eyes. Okay. And then I can come in here and put some things here. And so you can draw into your frottage to give it more detail. So I'm going to give it a body, and so I'm going to line this up. I'm going to figure out where the center is, where the shoulders will be. And then I'm going to just hold that in place. And I'm going to rub that out. And I want to get some of that inside detail because I think that makes it more interesting. So I'm just, again, holding my crayon on the side. And now I have given him a body on a strange little angle, but a body nonetheless. That is basically what you'll do for your frottage collage. Take some of those objects, figure out a way to contextualize them and rub them out, and then just take a picture and turn it in. So I could add a little graphic image there to fill in that space. And if you care to, you could also work into it with markers and colored pencils. But this is what you're required to do, is just create a drawing using the different objects to create your picture. And you could glue other objects on there from your frottage elements if you wanted to incorporate the 2 techniques. You're welcome to do that as well.